Sorith
Sits crumply.
Sorith pauses for a moment and just lets that sink in and turns and looks at you. Orlo. That's perfectly accurate. I feel as though maybe I have misjudged you in certain cases.
There it is. There it is. The one moment that I've been waiting for all 20 sessions of this. Orlo's moment of clarity where everybody goes, what? My lady, in liberating you as my dear friend, just a friend, I pointed out, did you feel or do you know if anything's changed in the immediate vicinity or the power of the Lady of the Wind, the Forgotten, whatever her name is? Have we somehow pulled something from her by severing you from her?
What I believe in that is you haven't taken anything from her, but you are stopping her from gaining more, if that makes sense.
It's the same thing.
What's to stop her from taking you back?
I don't have a good answer for that. I'm sure it's possible with the amount of power she wields, but I also believe now that she looks over at the two of them sitting there with the knowledge that we have gained from this, that we can come up with something a bit safer. Avram stands up at this point and he looks over at the group of you and says, well, luckily, with the assistance of some wonderfully cooperative ladies that you have delivered to us, we have found something of interest. So Avram draws these runes out, sets them down on the table in front of you, and says, the ladies have worked out that this particular binding ritual would work on her. Well, more or less. It will at least keep her away from magically causing any more issues.
So it's a ritual, something I write with my sparkly pen here, or what?
It is a binding ritual of sorts, yes. It creates what is roughly a field of more or less anti-magic. It is something that will keep her from doing more harm with this location particularly.
So we would need to put this, ultimately we need to put this in all 5 locations, is what I'm hearing. 6 locations.
Right.
5. Okay. That sounds simple. No problem. It's not like Lyle almost died or anything.
Oh, she never came close to dying.
That was
She didn't even
nothing. You
fall
should have
down.
seen the orb.
Truth be told, I've only ever heard of the orb. It was pre Emmerin, PE.
Same.
The dark times, as we call it.
Orlo, what happened with the orb? I don't trust Lia's story. I feel like she has a lot to defend, action-wise.
And I'll just like stare at Orlo.
So
Don't
there
let
was
her bully you now. I've
pond.
only seen her kill 4 or 5 people.
There's a pond and a pedestal, an orb, the usual.
Yeah.
And she was out there, decided it was a good idea to charge at the orb, and scooped it up into her bag, not before dropping it and cracking it.
No, I dropped it and cracked it afterwards.
Okay.
So yeah, dropping, cracking magical orbs, and then whispering voices coming from said orb, and then stabbing said orb.
Now that seems reasonable, given that you have what is pretty clearly a cursed orb whispering things to you. It's better to destroy the orb than to take the power off it.
And stabbing the orb released the person trapped inside it.
Well, hold on.
Within
There was a
safe
person trapped inside it? We never covered this part. We just know he stabbed a circle.
See,
Pause.
this is why I don't like orbs.
So, I'm not even shitting you. I could not have planned this any better. I need all of you guys to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
I feel like you are shitting us a little.
11.
13.
21.
Hell yeah.
Emmerin, you are the only one not affected by this. Well, the only one out of the group. Sorith and Avrim and you all have no issues. But the rest of you, there is out on the balcony, a massive, bright, blinding light that starts emanating from this particular area. As the light starts to fade, a voice kind of echoes out from it and says, "Yes, a person. Well, mostly. And I can't thank you enough for saving me yet again."
Hello, Embriel.
So as you guys kind of, your eyes readjust, Amriel is standing there. He is, to explain again, a very plain but attractive human being. Very nice features, very clean. He is an ASMR, and he is standing there next to another figure whom dwarfs him by comparison. Next to him is a figure that is in these long, white, resplendent robes. They are tall. They're very broad.
How tall?
Incredibly tall.
Yep.
They don't have long white hair, do they?
They don't know.
Damn it.
You see this very faint aura spread out from behind them, and there are these massive wings, almost, like I said, hidden from sight. They're very ethereal. They're almost the texture of like a marble column would be, and each feather that is attached to these wings, which there are 6 of them, has just like, it's this very soft glow as they kind of fade in and out of your perception. As the light kind of fades from around them, they have very deep azure, like blue, a diadem, crown that's made from all of these precious metals and gemstones that you would probably mostly be familiar with. They are things that are found in this world that you would have naturally have seen. Sorith and Avrim stand up and turn towards them, and as they do, both Amriel and this other creature give a very deep bow to Sorith and Avrim. Sir Roland, you give me a religion check, if you would, please.
Finally. Man's been asking for history checks for the last 6 months. 19.
You immediately would recognize this figure, not only by their looks alone, but from the symbol that they wear on their chest, which is one that you also wear around your neck. This is actually your deity. This is Myares.
Roland is going to stand up from the table and take a knee and kneel on the floor.
This is the Archon of
Civilization.
This creature walks over towards you, places a hand on your shoulder. You feel this just incredibly overwhelming sensation. Your senses are filled with this just harmonious ringing as you feel this entity kind of physically touching you. You can feel the sword at your side vibrating. And this voice kind of just echoes out through your head as he speaks to you. He commends you, and he thanks you specifically for taking care of this threat. He looks over to you directly, Emmerin, because you are sitting on the thing that he wants. And he has a very soft voice as he looks at the group of you and says, "Thank you. This is a great feat for all of your people. This is something that very few ever even have an opportunity to do, let alone vanquish. I have no doubt that those chosen by our fathers, our masters, have been more than enough and have succeeded where many others have failed. I am looking forward to seeing what it is that you can do. I cannot offer much, especially to those that do not necessarily believe. But we will be watching. And again, thank you." And you see him walk towards you, Emmerin. He walks past each of you, and he lays his hand on you. And he does heal you if you are not already completely healed to full health. And you also can add 10 temporary hit points as well that do not go away until they are taken away.
Nice.
And
That's for everybody?
That's for everybody, yes.
Hell yeah.
He walks over to you, Emmerin, and he looks, down at you specifically because he is incredibly tall. And he says, "If I may, I would very much like to take this from you and hoist it high above civilization as an achievement for all of your people."
Oh, it's like the head of Anixia.
Yeah.
So the whole world gets a buff now, right?
Yeah, no, just the people in Stormwind.
Emmerin's gonna get off, and he's just gonna he's got his arms folded. He's gonna get off. And he's gonna look at this Archon and no fucking kidding. If you'll do me the pleasure, Emmerin's just gonna turn around and cut a horn off the head or whatever is on this thing that would be kind of a suitable trophy. I hope you don't mind if I keep this.
No, it will not matter where it is going.
I can't wait to tell the Order about this one.
Roland's going to stand up and kind of wipe the tears from his eyes and say, "My Ares, my lord, my liege, if I may impose upon you a question, it's been tearing me up. My brother Michel, has he left your good graces? I don't mean to intrude. I know that it is up to the Order to take care of our own. I can't bring myself to pass judgment against my own brother. Please, just let me know. Has he stayed true to you, to us?"
So as you're asking this question, he reaches down and he grabs the head, and the two of you have carried it most of this way, and it's quite heavy. He lifts it up with it looks like he's picking up like a trash bag, and he lifts it up and like kind of lets go of it in front of him, and it just floats there for a second, and it starts to kind of like shimmer, and it gets smaller, and he reaches out and he grabs this almost like a 1x1 square gem that he pulls from this light as it kind of fades, and he lifts the gem and sets it in the diadem, and he turns back towards you. When you were asked to check on your brother, to make sure that things were going the way that they should, while I feel that some things can be enough to cause you to leave my good graces, as you put it, I am here to watch over all of you. The group of you spend your lives. And he turns towards you, Emmerin, as well. Fighting, making sure that the world is a safer place for your brothers, and throwing yourself into battle against something that you may have no chances of walking away from. No matter what happened before is enough to make even the most unforgivable debt paid. You shouldn't worry so much about what I think. My gaze is infinite, and I watch all of you, but I don't think that any of you do wrong in most cases. And he turns, and he walks back towards Amriel, and as he walks past Sorth and Offerm again, he gives a very low bow of reverence. He looks at the group of you again as he walks out towards the balcony. I should say, you may never see myself or another one of us, but I do promise you that we always watch, for better or worse. And he just disappears.
We're just gonna sit there with a hand in the air, like.
Orlo's gonna lean closer to Laya and whisper, "Was that his elder?"
Roland's going to collapse into a chair at the table with this huge smile on his face, just like staring off to where he just disappeared.
And I'll just walk over to Roland, and I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna place a hand on his shoulder.
Oh, from Sorith. The Asimar's not still here, right?
No, Amriel's still there.
Amriel's still here. Orbs man. Sorry, I don't know your name. I don't understand. We've got 2 dragons. We've got a fucking angel and an Archon walking the earth. Why is it that we're doing the heavy lifting here?
Oh, you don't like a little heavy lifting, Emmerin?
Only when you're doing it, Rolly.
You have to understand that despite what may make sense, and despite how we also feel about it, we are bound by oaths and by rules. And what we are allowed to do, we find gray area and we walk the line and do things that sometimes we maybe should not, but there are certain things that we cannot do. We have the capability of some sorts to fix everything, but the way in which things remain balanced and continue to function without tearing everyone into small pieces must be governed by rules.
Well, I still think it's kind of bullshit. How is this much different?
Emmerin!
I've got my own fucking thing with this. Would you just... Okay? I don't see it as much fucking different than the Lady of the Wind manipulating Lady Alhaya and other individuals into their thrall and getting them to do the heavy lifting to bring about whatever it is they want. Just getting a little fucking tired of being manipulated by forces that are beyond our control. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if they're asking us to do something, there has to be a good reason for it. Obviously, like you're saying, they could do whatever they want. So there has to be some sort of reason they're asking us to do it.
He
Sorith
sits grumpily.
pauses for a moment and just lets that sink in and turns and looks at you. Orlo. That's perfectly accurate. I feel as though maybe I have misjudged you in certain cases.
There it is. There it is. The one moment that I've been waiting for all fucking 20 sessions of this. Orlo's fucking moment of clarity where everybody goes, what?
It's just back where I come from. You know, we had traditions, rules, and things that I understand why you would want to live by those or live up to those. Why you might feel bound by certain things like that. So, yeah, I mean, if you're stuck in a situation, I mean, I've been having a good time so far. But if you're stuck in a pretty like rotten situation where you can't do anything and you need some, you know, ragtag group like us to help you out, I don't got anything better to do, so I'm in.
I can't believe I can honestly say that Orlo has swayed my way of thinking at least a little bit. I'm still not wild about the idea of being manipulated by beings that have the power that you have, but well, fuck me if I won't follow Orlo wherever he goes. Just out of curiosity.
It's a valid thing to do.
I think I've made my position clear. I would go and try and find these well springs and bring order back to the world, even if it were just me. But I would be more than honored to be accompanied by any one of you. Plus, if you guys come along, I probably won't die.
Well, I wouldn't get too ahead of yourself.
I maybe won't die.
That's better.
You probably won't maybe die.
And I'll just kind of like give Roland's shoulder a squeeze and.
So we're up for an adventure then.
Always. Oh, and you can stop leaning on poor Jean.
I gathered that, thank you.
I want you to understand, especially you, Emmerin. You come from a place where they believe that all things were created from one being. The Church of the Eternal Reign, as they are, believe in the Dragon Mother, the being that created everything.
This is the Church of Brackercord.
Yes. We haven't really talked a lot about this in terms of you, but this is something that you would know. They are correct. She gave birth to us. We then created the Archons to assist us in our job. And there were other iterations in between, but you now follow them as was intended because they created you. Good.
Roland's face, as he says this, Roland's face kind of like goes from this look of like bliss to like as the words sink in, he like looks over and then starts to look concerned, and then the color kind of drains from his face. The monotheists?
While they have the correct idea, have no worries, young paladin. What you believe in is true, as you've just witnessed.
I owe a lot of acolytes, a lot of gold.
Sorith leans in and he goes, between you and me, no you don't.
Emmerin smiles a little bit and goes, you do have a humorous side.
I feel
I
less...
may have a gambling problem.
That's the realization. There it is. And end campaign.
Roland goes to rehab.
This is all just an elaborate
Intervention.
Intervention, thank you.
Yeah.
An elaborate intervention for Roland and his gambling.
But yes, please do not think that for a moment that what you believe in is not true. It is just different iterations and different worlds in which things are perceived differently. You have committed to this more so than I ever could have imagined. I did not believe that Avram had necessarily made the right choice initially. You can see Avram just giving him like a shit-eating like grin of just like, I fucking told you. But I was wrong, and I am impressed.
Oh, Ovram, why did you choose myself and Orlo when we're not even from here?
That's not entirely true. You see, each of us has their own focus, if you will. Mine happens to be time. You're not from here exactly. You both are from the world as it is known in time, just not right now.
Roland is like quietly losing his mind in the corner. This is like if
Yeah.
Jesus came down from heaven and then told Charlemagne that like, oh yeah, no, Buddha was right. By the way, have you heard about the Buddha?
To be fair, I mean, this is kind of like came down, told you, I created the Buddha. The Buddha is right, but you're also right.
You're all yeah.
Everybody's a little bit right. You know, Christianity got like 10%, Buddhism got like 10%.
Good.
That one guy from Calgary.
What would that mean to like a Knight Templar though? Like that's that's completely insane.
Yeah, it's logically bananas.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't particularly answer your question, but you are a lot more tied to this than you may think.
Are you able to elaborate more on that?
You will find that there are certain things in this world that are tied to you because of who you are. They are not relevant right now, but you may come across them in the world, and you've already probably discovered that while there are certain affinities that you share with, for example, and he looks at the two of you and your weapons, yes? Those aren't things that just happen. Your tether to them, what you share, is a much deeper relationship. And it may seem happenstance and it may seem random, but it is not, I promise.
Well, it's not random. Sorith made them.
Yes.
Orlo ignores the talk of the weapon and just like puts his hand on his spoons.
Amazing.
Real indeed.
Emmerin's gonna stand up and rub his head, and he's just gonna walk over to Roland. He's gonna take the hip flask that he keeps in his bag and just slam it on the table, unscrew it, and then walk back over and sit down. And again, rub his face a little bit. Fuck.
Roland is going to drink generously from the hip flask.
And then Laya, I'm once he's done, I'm gonna just grab it from him and also throw some back.
It's not good. It's like, it's got like a woody taste to it, but like mostly a woody taste. It's not good.
You know what is good though?
Drink his wine.
The alchemy jug.
The mayo in the alchemy jug.
The wine the alchemy jug can also make.
As far as I know, the only role that the alchemy jug has had in our adventure so far has been mayonnaise.
It made oil once.
That's basically man.
Is it?
Yeah.
Kinda.
Getting to hang with
Fair enough.
beauties.
I did water once. I did salt water.
Oh yeah.
I think I did one of the waters to try and drown something or some such business.
So I have tried to be a lot more in character about the things that we were talking about here, but is there anything that you guys specifically want to know that you have questions about still? Because I will gladly answer them, and it does not have to be in character necessarily. I want to make sure that we cover the basis of things you need to know or want to know, because that's very much what this is about right now.
I'm gonna need like at least 10 slide PowerPoint with like 4 summary pages.
Good news. There's an entire book you can read.
How do we get access to that, Dominic?
Yeah. Does man choose to follow an archon, or does the divine will of the archon dictate which men are included in the flock? Like, was John Calvin right?
Men choose.
All right. Chalk up one for Martin Luther. Who'd have thunk? Who'd have thunk? Reign of the Sunday idol. We'd have cleared that one up.
Solving history problems left and right.
Got him.